Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into job numbers that beat expectations, we had record low unemployment. We had record highs in the stock market. They say, well, that was President Obama's economy. But Trump cut taxes, and he cut regulation. President Obama would not have done that. Now we have the recession, or close to a recession, a possible recession that Democrats have wanted. He's still defeating expectations. He's still beating estimates. So, this is CNBC. Now, before we get to the fact, okay, if we're in a recovery from a recession, however you want to look at it, it is self-induced. The manner in which we handled the pandemic, the economy was completely shut down throughout the country and the world, but throughout the country, because estimates on mortality rate were dreadfully off, thank God. Still, people have suffered, and it's been absolutely horrendous. But they were saying the mortality rate was 3%, 2%. Now, there are studies that have been done, article in The Hill by Dr. Charles W. Atlas, but also there's a USC study, there's a Stanford study. You're looking at even New York's governor said it was 0.5% in his state, according to Business Insider. The mortality rate is far below what people thought. I'm not even going to get into specific numbers because Democrats and media don't want to address the topic. We'll just leave it at that. The economy was tanked because the expectation was that hospitals would be overrun, the world would stop, it would be like similar to the bubonic plague. Maybe it's a little hyperbolic there, but that was the reason. Now you have 5 to 7 states accounting for around half of the lives lost in the entire country of 50 states. But you still have a national hysteria and a national shutdown. Or you have you had the national shutdown where Democrats had still voted in March and April during the pandemic. So they voted in person, millions in Illinois, Arizona, Florida, and Wisconsin. But you definitely couldn't work, but you could vote for the Democratic primary that isn't based on the popular vote. They want to do away with the Electoral College, but they definitely want to have state primaries. Anyway, Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee. Whether it's at the convention, I think it will be at the convention, or after the convention, I don't care. They're not going with Biden. That's absurd. That is ludicrous. The whole thing, and I wrote in the Huffington Post, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. And 2017. Share that article. It's below. And by the way, be here on my live streams. 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Pacific, they start. They're awesome. It's actually a long live stream, about 2 hours. It's great. People have a lot of fun. It's awesome. And if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. But here, we'll get to payrolls increased by nearly 1.8 million, topping expectations despite pandemic resurgence. The pandemic resurgence is not in every state, and you look at a chart of any flu season, it's not a straight line downwards. It always goes up and down and up and down and up and down. We flattened the curve. Less people are losing their lives than months back, every day and every month. Less people. And then you had Jonathan Swan of Axios, completely belligerent and acting the fool. Why didn't he behave in that manner with? Why doesn't he interview Governor Cuomo of New York in that manner? Oh, sir, why did you put old people in nursing homes that were infected? Why? why don't you ask media never confronts Democrats for their sins. It's always, lives are being lost. It's your fault, Trump. He's not the governor of New York. Trump is not the governor of New York. Trump is not the governor of New Jersey. Trump is not the governor of Illinois. Trump is not the mayor of a major metropolitan or urban center in this country. The places being hit the most, and the most suffering, and the most lives lost, and the most agony from this pandemic are run by Democrats. Yet they get a free pass all the time. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you have this adversarial relationship between media and Trump that never existed. In fact, it's well, here, let me just read you this. Payrolls increased by nearly 1.8 million, topping expectations despite pandemic resurgence. Non-farm payrolls increased 1.763 million in July, and the unemployment rate fell to 10.2%. The unemployment rate's still falling, and you still have California pretty much shut down, and New York pretty much shut down. That's 40% of the U.S. economy right there. And you have other regions in the country that aren't operating. And so media says, well, Trump is presiding over this horrible economy. There's not a person on the planet that blames Trump for this economy, that really understands what's really going on. Okay, they say that Clinton would have done differently, or Democrats would have done differently. What would they have done differently? They say, the pandemic response team. President Obama, if you look, left the country with a shortage in masks. That was a fact check that even USA Today ran, and it was like, it's true, you know what? Fact check, did Obama administration deplete the federal stockpile of N95 masks? And the answer, rating true. Was that part of the wonderful pandemic response team? Why did they, we rate this claim true because it's supported by research. There's no indication that the Obama administration took significant steps to replenish the supply of N95 masks in the strategic national stockpile after it was depleted from repeated crises. Calls for actions came from experts at the time concerned for the country's ability to respond to future serious pandemics. Such recommendations were, for whatever reason, not heeded. Thanks, Obama. Thanks, Clinton. Thanks, Biden. Wow, what a wonderful pandemic response team that you would have had. You still wouldn't have had the N95 masks, so they wouldn't have done anything differently other than they would have had media on their side. And they certainly wouldn't have engaged in the travel restrictions that Trump implemented in January. So if anything, Trump almost certainly did a lot more than they would have done. But the governors and mayors are the ones who decide what goes on in each state. And the overall economy is still rebounding, despite the best efforts of media and Democrats saying, oh, there's a spike, you gotta shut everything down. And of course, they'll have you believe it's only about human lives. It's not about politics at all. Yeah, there's something happening in November, we don't know. And it's gonna be Trump versus Clinton. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. And if President Trump takes Clinton, likely she could win. Clinton is the best candidate that Democrats have, by far. Biden is an exhumed body at this point. He looks like a cadaver that got Botox and plastic surgery. They would lose miserably. They wouldn't even get the popular vote. With Clinton, they could get the popular vote because you have the I'm with her crowd, but she'll still lose the election. She'll lose the Electoral College. But I'd say when it happens, don't take Clinton lightly. But here, payrolls increased by nearly 1.8 million, topping expectations despite coronavirus. Okay, research. And so Both numbers were better than respective Wall Street forecasts of 1.48 million and 10.6. So you have, even with a 3-month gain, total unemployment remained at 12.9 million, below its February level. So total unemployment level remained at 12.9 million. We still have a lot of wood to chop here, but we're moving in the right direction. So the economy is improving better than people think. Now you have the wonderful experts. Chances of pandemic vaccine being highly effective is not great. So it's like, at a certain point, if you are at risk, this is what should have always taken place. If you're at risk, stay home. Or take precautions. Wear your masks. Take precautions. Listen to your doctor. If you are, have an underlying health condition, if you're obese, or if you're overweight and you have an underlying health condition, or you should or if you're older. But instead, the experts have told society to shut down, and then you just look at the average flu chart from years past. It doesn't just go down, like the trend goes down, but there are always spikes here and there. So they use this to just then say, okay, well, we can't open up the economy again. It's like, at a certain point, states are going to go bankrupt. Cities are going to go bankrupt. You can't. People, I have no clue why there hasn't been more of a political or more of a media, a reflection in media of all the people who are truly suffering economically. You have 5 to 7 states, Democratic-run states, that have over half of all the lives lost. But there are still people in 40-plus states that are suffering economically, and in terms of just a drastic reduction in income. How are they surviving? How are people surviving? And here we have Democrats just, this schadenfreude and this gleeful, like, well, Trump is really doing a bad job. You could stop all of this. Vote Democrat. There's one side that wants to open up the economy. It's Trump and the Republicans. Democrats pretend that they really, really care about, oh my goodness, they care so much about human life. But they told people to vote during the pandemic in Arizona, Florida, Illinois, and Wisconsin. And New York and New Jersey are the epicenter of all of this. Well, New York is the epicenter, run purely by Democrats. But, like, the people who are suffering economically, are they going to vote Democrat? When they see already that, the economy is desperate. Once you renew the economy, allow people to work, allow society to function, tell people who are at risk to take precautions and stay home. The notion that government is protecting people from themselves should also lead to another 18th Amendment banning alcohol. How many people lose their lives in drunk driving accidents because of drunk driving accidents? From cirrhosis of the liver. How many people lose their lives from smoking? Why don't you ban cigarettes if government is going to save people from themselves? Secondhand smoke is also, hurts other people. So the rebuttal is, well, it's what other people do affects everyone else in this pandemic. Well, yeah, but the most carnage is located within 5 to 7 states, and they're all run by Democrats. And nobody talks about the recovery rate, the survival rate, mortality rate. Nobody talks about any of that stuff. And they say, well, cases, but they don't talk about lives lost. Then Jonathan Swan said, well, cases as a percentage of population. Yeah, well, South Korea and Germany don't have the New York's governor or de Blasio, New York City's mayor. They don't have incompetent Democrats running major metropolitan areas and urban centers of this country that were completely blindsided because they were focused on trying to impeach Trump in February. And then in March 1st, Andrew Cuomo stated, the risk remains low for the people of New York. I would love Jonathan Swan of Axios to ask New York's governor, well, why did you say that? Well, it wasn't low. It wasn't low, was it? You'll never get that. You'll never get that exchange between a Democrat and media. Never. You deleted 30,000 emails without government oversight? Really? Well, it was your attorneys that did it? How did they know? How did they know there wasn't top secret emails that they deleted? How did you know? I mean, you never get that exchange. That's why, I mean, media at this point is an extension, and it's not hyperbole. It used to be hyperbole. It used to be hyperbole to say that media was an extension of the Democratic Party. That used to be hyperbole. Now it's not. So give me your thoughts below. There are so many people suffering, not just from the pandemic, suffering to just pay the rent, and they're healthy. Most Americans now, or a great percentage, are suffering financially because of the failed response to the pandemic. You could have always had a logical and rational and reasonable medical response, or a response influenced by the wonderful experts who didn't see this coming. You could have had social distancing and masks. Like, people should wear masks and people should social distance. But you could still have all of that and society function. Give me your thoughts economically. Give me your thoughts below. People who are at risk should stay home and stay away from others, and people who have symptoms should stay home. Give me your thoughts below. The economy is doing better than people could imagine or beat expectations, and it's just begging. And you think that the economy is going to do well with Democrats who didn't want any of Trump's policies that led to record low unemployment? And give me your thoughts below. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a great segment on there. And be here at around, 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. this evening. I have a great live stream. Oh, and by the way, Madam Secretary's on MSNBC with Joy Reid in a couple of days. Sunday, I think. I wonder why. It's bizarre. Oh, but that's right, because she's going to be a nominee. And I will be the only person on the entire internet, on this channel and H.A. Goodman's other channel, to tell you. We haven't started election season, by the way. I want you to know this. I hope you know this. We haven't started election season. So, give me your thoughts. Thank you so very much. Be here on this channel for tonight's live stream.